What's up, YouTube? Thank you guys for being patient. What's going on Facebook? I got the double streams going. I appreciate you guys always for being here. And I want to talk about three things today. The first thing is vaccination segregation. It's hard to talk about because Facebook, Google, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all the social media, they crack down so hard on it and they censor it as if it's not happening, as if we didn't have a lockdown and quarantine and mask mandate. And now what we're facing is a vaccine segregation, or as I'm calling it, a vaccination segregation, where they're pretty much trying to create a two-tiered society based on whether you are or aren't vaccinated. So, I simply just, as a United States citizen who has a dwindling First Amendment right, I just want to talk about it a little bit, because when we have drastic changes like what we've seen over the last year happen to our society, the worst thing that could happen is losing our right to even speak about it, which is kind of what's happening on social media. I'll do my best to talk about it, and hopefully this video doesn't get flagged. I usually don't like to put the V word in my title for that reason, but it is what it is. At this point, it's not going away, and it needs to be talked about. And then I want to talk about Juneteenth. It became a national holiday recently, and there was a George Floyd memorial or statue outside of the city hall in Newark. And I think all these things are really related, and I think there's a big picture going on. And as people are coming in, I think it's good to learn from the past. I think it's good to move on from the past. It's good to not repeat the bad things in the past and evolve from things like slavery. But I really truly believe from the bottom of my heart and soul that they're only bringing this type of stuff up now is because they're trying to distract people from the slavery of the future and the present moment. And they're ushering in pretty much a digital movement where you don't have your freedom anymore. When's the last time you weren't allowed to go to a park? When's the last time you weren't allowed to go to a tennis court? When's the last time they took down your basketball courts? When's the last time they closed your gym? When's the last time they told you couldn't go to work unless you bowed down to a big pharma product? It's not even FDA approved yet. I mean, this is really crazy stuff that we're facing. And that's the reason that they're bringing up all this stuff now. It's not because they actually care. It's not because they're trying to make right. It's because they're ushering in a new era of peasantry and serfdom where, there's a group of people who has the freedom and luxury to do what they want. And then there's another group of people who doesn't. And as people are going in, I try not to be too boring as people are coming on. But if you go to a restaurant now, I, have enough money where I don't have to work at a restaurant. I have, there's nothing wrong with it. There's people who own restaurants and work with it. The point I'm trying to get to is I've worked at a restaurant. I've done dishwashing. I've done all sorts of stuff. Now I'm at the point where I don't do that. I don't have to. I don't want to. It's not my business at this moment. But when I walk into a restaurant, there's a reason I'm talking about it. I don't have to wear a mask. It's because I have money to pay. I'm a person who's going to give money to the business, and they don't charge people who pay them anymore. They just make the people who work there, the servers, the bartenders, the waitresses. I went to the PGA Tour today, and the police officers have to wear masks because they're on the job. There's nothing, I'm not acting like I'm better. I don't think I am. The point I'm trying to get to is they're creating a two-tiered status where police officers on the job have to wear the mask because they're working. People who work for the PGA Tour have to wear the mask because they're working. But all of the people who are paying to go to the event don't have to. It's starting to create like a tiered society where if you're being treated like a lesser if you're part of the system, if you have to work at a certain event. And if you could break away from that, then you don't have to do it. So I'm sick to my stomach of what's going on with the mask, with the vaccine segregation, and how nobody realizes what's going on. And I think it's even happening with NBA players. I saw something today where, they're having separate rules for NBA players based on who got vaccinated and who not. So even if you're a wealthy millionaire elite, now they're creating a two-tiered society. Okay, you might have $100 million. You might be LeBron James. But if you don't bow down to the Pfizer or Moderna injection, if you don't, inject the mRNA jab into your body, you lose your freedom. Doesn't matter how much money you have. I mean, why do you think they're bringing up Juneteenth now? Why do you think they're building George Floyd memorials? Unfortunately, it's not because they care about America or Black America. Unfortunately, it's not because they're trying to right the wrongs of slavery in the past. Unfortunately, it's because they're trying to usher in a new era of digital vaccine, mask, two-tiered, Oculus sponsored halftime shows, replace human being with cardboard cutouts. No matter if you're a Black man with $100 million, you still lose your freedom and your rights as an NBA player if you don't bow down to the agenda. That's why they're bringing it up. So we have to have a very real conversation. It's going to be tough. Unlike Marjorie Taylor Greene, God bless her soul, I will not be apologizing. I will not be going on my, memorial tour where I pop up in museums and apologize for how sorry I am for the comparison. I think she compared the masks to a certain historical event. And I don't care if people make bad comparisons. I don't care if people say this or that. Actions matter more than words, and they're making people apologize for noticing that something's wrong. Even if you make a false comparison, if you notice something's wrong and you're trying to stand up to it, in my opinion, you're doing a lot more than the people who are just following along with it. So, Marjorie Taylor Greene apologized. I will not be apologizing for my comparisons today because I'm not saying it in an ignorant way. I'm not historically illiterate. I'm very literate. And there is a new era of digital, control going on with citizens. And if you look up the word, I'm very good. I'm not going to brag, but I'm just saying I have a good understanding of words in the dictionary, and I've always been a poet, a rapper. I like words. I like rhyming. The word enslave means to cause somebody to lose their freedom of choice or action. So if you go from being a free, let's just say African-American athlete like LeBron James, and you have all this freedom, and then one day you wake up and you can't go here, you can't go here, you can't travel to Europe, you can't go here if you don't get the vaccine when you're playing sports, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. You are being enslaved. So I'm on the side of the people fighting against slavery, except I want to talk about the one that's coming in now, because if you lose your freedom of choice or action, you are being enslaved via dictionary definition. I will not be going on an apology tour at Holocaust museums or ancient, slave landmarks or anything, because I'm not sorry for what I'm saying. This is for all of humanity, not for any specific race, gender, anything. First thing I want to talk about is, Juneteenth and the George Floyd Memorial. Thank you guys for being here. God bless you. God bless you. I appreciate it. I'm always grateful, especially when I'm on the road and stuff. I'm grateful to be able to have fun, enjoy myself. I don't take very many breaks. I'm a workaholic, even with my thumb. I edit my music video. I never stop editing. I keep going. But it's nice to actually not be on the computer or cell phone all day. I've had a great day, but I'm still here working. So thank you guys for being here. I want to talk about the George Floyd statue first. So, the City Hall in Newark unveiled a new George Floyd statue, larger than life. George Floyd statue unveiled in New Jersey's largest city. And I think what's going on in Newark at the City Hall, before we even talk about the George Floyd statue, it's very representative and symbolic of what America is doing. And I really got inspired to say this from Dave Smith. I don't know if you guys know the libertarian Dave Smith. He's been crushing it in a lot of mainstream news now. He brought up a tweet where he was saying we shouldn't go over to Iran and Iraq if we can't even clean up the capital of our own city. I mean, how embarrassing is that? We're a great country. Washington, D.C. I love Washington, D.C. The monuments are awesome, but this is not a thriving community. Of course, there's a rich area of D.C., but when I went to the White House and when I stayed at Trump Tower, the walk to the White House, it wasn't terrible. I've been in worse areas, but it's embarrassing because these politicians in DC, they let the whole city decline. There's all this crime all over the place. There's people living off the streets. It's not the nicest place I've ever been. No offense to people who live in DC. I'm not saying it to be rude or make fun of people. I'm saying it because the politicians don't care. They don't care about the people outside. They live in their ivory towers. They go in the White House. And when you go outside of it, I mean, a lot of it is very run down. And this is true to any, capital I've ever been to. I did a speech at the Orange County Capitol in Santa Ana, and my goodness, outside the Capitol was just as bad as Los Angeles, certain areas of it. It was shocking to see that in Orange County. This seems to be a trend. And in Newark, they're bragging about building a George Floyd statue in Newark, which is nice, I guess. But Newark is not the nicest neighborhood either. And no offense, I've been to Newark. I'm familiar with the area. I'm not saying it to be rude to people who live there. I'm just saying the politicians, they don't care about making Newark safer or cleaner or nicer or more prosperous. They're going to build you a George Floyd statue and say, look at George Floyd, who, by the way, I'm not knocking what happened. Please, I don't want to get into it. But if you look at his entire, I don't know if that's the greatest role model, to just build a statue of, but whatever. If people want to make George Floyd into a Martin Luther King and a Malcolm X, that's on you. But in general, they're only doing it because they don't care about people so much. They're throwing people a bone like, yeah, we won't help your community. Yeah, we're not going to create jobs. We're going to take away jobs. We're going to shut down business. I mean, who do you think it affected? Everybody. But of course, the Black community was affected when they shut down jobs, shut down travel, shut down business. And people who live in Newark or Brooklyn or places that are more city, it's in my opinion one of the worst places to be locked down because you don't have a yard. It's such an elitist idea. It's like, well, if we lock you down, you don't need to go to a gym, just work out outside. It's like you've clearly never lived in the hood, and you've clearly never lived in an urban area where you don't have a yard. And I've lived in areas where it wasn't safe to go outside. So it's like I don't not only do I not have a yard, but it's not really I can't be working out at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. It's not safe here. So Newark is one of those areas where it's like when you lock down Newark, you're not only destroying business, you're not only destroying jobs, you're not only destroying income, you're not only destroying physical and mental health, obviously, with lockdowns, but now they're just, oh, George, look at the George Floyd. It's like distract. Look at the light. Look at the George Floyd. Let's talk about it. Let's build you a statue. How about if you care so much as City Hall in Newark, make Newark into a thriving, prosperous area? Because I actually have family who was familiar with Europe. I'm sorry, not Europe, Europe too, but Newark. I have great grandmas and grandmas and people who grew up in that area, and they used to tell me that Newark and Elizabeth used to be really safe and really nice and really prosperous, and it's just gotten way run down over the last 50, 60, 70 years. So this is my call to Black Lives Matter, left wing, right wing. I don't even want to talk about politics right now because there's a lot of liars, but people really need to figure out they're not building these statues because they care about Black people in Newark. They're building these statues because they think that we're so dumb and so stupid that they could just build a statue and nobody will notice the fact that they're putting masks on people, doing vaccination segregation, replacing people at sports games with cardboard cutouts and VR halftime shows. And it's like it's such a slap in the face to me to see all of these capital cities and capital areas, whether it's DC, Newark, Orange County, all over the place, where Sacramento, it seems to be the capital areas that are some of the worst areas in the entire state and the entire city. So I think that just shows how much they care about you. They don't care about you. They go into their work. They have security guards. They try to pass anti-Second Amendment legislation for the peasants. They're protected by guns, but they don't want you to protect yourself by a gun. They don't care that most of the crime in these cities is illegal registered guns. They go to their ivory tower, they pass their laws, they run the city down, build a George Floyd statue, and then they get billions of dollars later. And that's why government is so ineffective, in my opinion. There's many reasons, but imagine if you got $1 trillion to do nothing. And then you did some of the worst things that have ever been done. Lock down humanity, take away their gyms, take away their jobs, take away their sense of purpose in life. And then you just print more money. It's like the worse politicians are, the more money they get. And on a government budget, if you say it's a $50 million budget and you only spend $10 million, then next year they'll only give you $10 million. So you're incentivized to spend more money than you could even use. Government is just corrupt to the core, but it's because imagine if you didn't have to do anything proper and you'd still get money next year because it's not their money. They're using taxpayer money. I'm going to read a few comments real quick. Do I think Canadians will be required to get the V to be able to travel to the USA? It really depends how many people stand up against it, which I'll talk about later, but it's really a numbers game. Someone said vaccine exemption for religious grounds. I mean, Paul, yeah, they're trying to take it away, but with the masks too, this was my whole thing. I don't mind, if I have to do it, if it makes sense, but if it doesn't make sense and it's intrusive, they don't stop there. Anytime government takes away your rights, tax was supposed to be, income tax was supposed to be temporary. It's never temporary. I mean, that's what my buddy who's liberal, I had a call with him recently. He's left wing, but he's reasonable. He said, you were right, because we talked during 15 days of slow the spread. And I said, bro, this is not going away. And he thought I was crazy. He's like, this is only going to last 15 days. And I'm telling him, I said, dude, there's no way this is going to last 15 days. I promise you this is going to last months, a year, or forever. And he called me recently. He was like, dude, I have to say, you were right. It sounded like a conspiracy theory, but it's like their plans are so much deeper than just 15 days to slow the spread. But I don't want to harp on it too much. But the George Floyd statue, I think, is very symbolic, not because they care about Black people or Black Lives Matter, but because, one, the capital city is not the safest or nicest area of New Jersey, and they don't care. They have no plans to make it better. They just build statues, take taxpayer money, give people bad role models, and never address the root of what's going on. In fact, they usually push the opposite propaganda, which enables people to continue the decline of their own community. So it's like they always just do the opposite. It's like, I follow Lord Jamar. He's a rapper, old school rapper, really smart guy though, always outspoken against Black Lives Matter. He's black, but he knows that it's a scam and a scheme. So he posted something about the cheese and the trap and saying the reason they give you the cheese is it's free because the trap falls on you. And people say that about socialism a lot, but not to get too political, but yeah, it's like they give you things because that's the trap. It wouldn't be a trap if there was no cheese. So it's similar to this type of stuff, and they clearly don't care, and they always just pump the opposite into the communities. So Juneteenth was officially a national holiday. It wasn't just liberals who passed it. It was also a lot of conservatives. I think even Trump put it as part of his platinum plan. I saw somebody tweet that. So it seems to be, obviously there's right wingers who don't want Juneteenth to be a holiday, but it's pretty bipartisan, and I see a lot of people arguing. I see, black conservatives I follow saying, why don't you guys want Juneteenth? This is our holiday. It's a good holiday. It's racist. Yeah, it's racist not to want. I see both sides saying that, but my point is this: I don't care. Like Martin Luther King Day, Juneteenth, you can make anything a holiday. I would like a Malcolm X holiday. I think that would be appropriate more than Juneteenth. But whatever, it's not up to me, or else we'd have a Malcolm X Day. But it's not that I care that people are celebrating the freeing of slavery, because that's an exciting thing. But why are they bringing it up now? They've had 60, 70 years to make it a federal holiday. Why now? And I've said this before, and I'm not saying it to be edgy or trendy or push the needle. They distract you with the slavery of the past because they don't want you to realize that they're ushering in slavery of the present. So, Obama's talking about Michael Brown and all these Black Lives Matter stuff that's when it really started during his era. Nobody talked about slavery in Libya. The foreign policy of Obama and Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State, they went into Libya, which was a prosperous country, and I'm maybe not the most prosperous country, but definitely better than it is now. And they tried to kill, or did kill, the leader of Libya. And in the vacuum of not having Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, there became an African slave trade. So literally Africans in the 21st century were being sold on a slave market in Libya. And it got virtually no press because most of the liberal press was either covering it up or bragging about the fact that Gaddafi was killed. You could go back to Vice. Vice tries to be so liberal and progressive, which interesting. If you look up what the word Vice means, that's exactly what they are. But in general, they were celebrating when the rebel groups, when they killed Gaddafi, they're celebrating on their Twitter account. How much reporting did they do afterwards on the slavery? So it's like they bring up all this stuff to distract you from the fact that they're actually literally ushering in slavery in the 21st century. And that was a hard slave trade. And then when you see what happened in 2020, the word enslave, and they change dictionary definitions because they create definitions, they make them broad, they make them smaller, they create new words, and they make people, dictionary wise illiterate. But the word enslave means to cause somebody to lose their freedom of choice or action. So if your own actions in your own situation, you lose something because of your own free will, that's one thing. In America, you're supposed to have obviously laws and regulations, but for the most part, people come to America because of an economy. I don't want to get on too much of a tangent, but I always talk to my Uber drivers and Lyft drivers, and almost every Uber and Lyft driver, I'm not just saying this because these are my political leanings, almost every Uber or Lyft driver I have in California is conservative. Today, I was picked up by a guy, he's at least 20 shades darker than Kamala Harris. Like there's I think I'm darker than Kamala. It doesn't matter. Listen, we love all skin colors here, but I'm just trying to, like Sherman-Williams. You ever go to a paint store? They got all the shades. It's like you got Kamala black, you got Anomaly tan. I'm darker than Kamala. And then you have this guy. This guy, I'm talking, he was like super black. But anyway, he's listening to Sean Hannity on the radio, and he's speaking in broken English. I talked to him for a little while. He's been an American citizen for 20 years. He's from Sudan. But most people would not expect a Sudanese Uber driver to be listening to Sean Hannity radio saying, this guy's the truth. This guy speaks real. I'm not even that big of a fan of Sean Hannity, but so many Uber drivers are conservative. It's usually the elitists that are super, super liberal. Obviously, there's liberals on the ground too. But if you're paying $3-4 for gas, you're starting to realize who's raising gas. Why is gas cheaper in Texas? Why is gas cheaper in all the conservative states? Why is gas so much in California? It's like, why is it my business so expensive in California? They're eliminating the middle class in California, and a lot of the workers are starting to realize it. But the point I'm trying to get to is, when you lose your freedom of choice or action, and the reason I brought that guy up, I was trying to figure out why I brought that story up. People come to America, and he was telling me work, 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 work. In America, we're so spoiled. We think a job, who cares? Just put me on welfare. Who cares about a job? It's the corporations. People come from Sudan. He told me he lived for a little bit in Kenya. They love America because there's jobs. Anywhere there's he said it's all good. I'm living my life. Life is a journey, but where there's a job, I want to go. So there's a lot of jobs in America. We go here. And he said a lot of people are driving Uber and Lyft. We don't want to be doing it, but there's no other jobs, especially after the lockdown. And it's not even that profitable anymore with all the gas prices. But he's like, it's all about jobs and economy. We used to know that, but what I'm saying is all these people all across the world are coming to America for our economy. And in March of last year, they shut down our economy. They shut down our jobs. They destroyed our travel industry. They shut down gyms. I mean, they enslaved us. I'm not going to go on a Marjorie Taylor Greene Holocaust denial whatever tour or whatever they think that she didn't even say anything. She just compared certain things to historical things. But in general, I'm not going to apologize because that's what the word literally means. When you lose your freedom of choice or action, that's called enslavement via the dictionary. So that's what happened last March. They took away gyms, hospitals. Now I know people too going through the hospital system. It's all backed up. So what if you had one of 10,000 things besides COVID? Now what? This has a huge impact on our economy, on our life, but on our freedom. They took away everything from us. So that's why they're rolling out Juneteenth. I see Black conservatives defending Juneteenth and fighting against it. And I get the whole fight, but I'm thinking to myself, guys, it's all about the vaccination segregation. It's all about the lockdowns, the quarantines, the mass testing scheme. We're never going to be free again at this rate. And I want to be, but I'm just saying, people are like, when's it going to stop? It's same answer as I had in March and April of last year. When enough people care, it's all over. But you have the leader of the Republican Party, Donald Trump. Although his base wants him to do this, he doesn't care that much. So Ron DeSantis has become a superstar because he actually cares. Because if you don't care about this, you're not a freedom leader. You're not going to be a good freedom leader because this is what's taking our freedom away. You're not going to be able to conserve the First Amendment. You're not going to be able to conserve the economy. You're not going to be able to conserve Black unemployment, Hispanic, all of these accomplishments that Trump did. It's such a tragedy because he also kicked himself in the foot, took it all away, and now doesn't even seem to want to talk about it, where it's like, it's not, I'm not trying to be edgy or mean to the right or the left, but same answer as April. If you don't get to the bottom of this, if you don't want to take a stand at a restaurant, there's 50 restaurants to go to, and they say, hey, can you wear a mask to walk 10 steps? I said, no, I would not eat there to walk them. I would not wear a mask for 10 steps. I said, this is insane. How come I have to wear a mask for 10 steps? How come I could take my mask off, but you have to wear your mask off? You're going to be stuck in a mask forever, bro, because you're just a submissive guy working for, just taking orders. And this is what Kanye, when everyone freaked out and he said slavery was a choice, it's like, this is what he was talking. I mean, it could not have been a better quote for a time like this. Like, people are choosing slavery. You have 50 restaurants to go to, but you want to follow these stupid laws that is not scientific, that is dehumanizing, that is demoralizing. You still do it. So now there's going to be 50 restaurants. Well, now they got rid of 100,000 restaurants because they couldn't stay open because the government and the corporate class shut them down. So now there's less restaurants. Now you get what I'm saying? The walls are going to close in on you. So when I said this in March and April to the left and to the right, it wasn't pro-Trump. It wasn't right-wing, but it wasn't anti-Trump. It wasn't, oh my God, you hate. It's like, guys, if you don't want to take a stand in some way against this peacefully, respectfully, calmly, the walls are going to close in. And that's what's happening to us now. So now NBA players next year, if you decide that you don't want an mRNA injection by Pfizer or Moderna that's not FDA approved, that clearly has some side effects, I'm not saying a lot, but enough where you should be able to decide. If I give up almonds to a room of 10,000 people, most people will be healthier if they eat the almonds, but there's going to be 5 to 10 people that won't. They're going to get sick. They're going to break out. And it's the same with the vaccine. I'm not saying everyone's going to get sick, but they're admitting now more people are having heart problems that are young men than we thought. We thought it would be there had to be an investigation. It was under 100 and there's over 200, almost 300 now. It's like, well, what about those 300 kids? How many of those 300 kids that now have this heart problem that's very damaging, how many of them were forced into it? How many of them were threatened into it and you scared the crap out of them so they got it and now they're hurting? Who cares about that? No one cares about them. They're just another human on the big pharma conveyor belt. Take this pill, get this surgery, get back in line. Who cares? They don't care about anything. The Center for Disease Control, how about cancer? Has that decreased? I don't think so. I think it's increasing. Has obesity decreased? I don't think it's decreased. I think it's increasing. Has diabetes decreased? I don't think so. What is the Center for Disease Control doing? They're controlling diseases, but they're definitely not preventing them. If anything, they're increasing them. And I'm not saying purposely, but they're so piss poor and so phony at their job. They micromanage everybody, shut down gyms. You're going to shut down health facilities and sports. And now that sports are open, now they got to be like pigs on a conveyor belt. If you don't get this, you have to wear a mask. You have to get tested every day. I'm not doing it. And I'm not. I'll talk about it later. But in general, it's not like me. I'm not anti-vaxxer, anti-mask. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. Wear 5. I don't care if you wear 5 and you can't even see where you're going. It doesn't bother me. That's on you. Just don't mask and drive with 5 because then you can't see the road. But I don't care if people get a Pfizer or Moderna. Why would I care? Who cares? People talk about. I'm not worried about shedding. I don't even. It's not a thing to me. I don't care. I don't care what people do. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of everyone having COVID. I'm not afraid of everyone having this. I'm not a fear monger. I'm not really worried about it. I just don't want to have to do it, especially because I've done so much research. I know Big Pharma's track record. I know the history of Bayer, the World War II history of Bayer. And then I know the fact that Monsanto has history in World War I and World War II as well. And Monsanto now merged with Bayer. And I also know Bayer had a little AIDS situational. If you Google Bayer AIDS pill, you can learn how they, I won't say it. You can see it yourself. I know the history of Pfizer. I know that they've settled out in court. I know that Johnson & Johnson is still dealing with baby powder lawsuits when that was a thing that they did have liability for. So I'm not in a rush in line because at my age bracket, but the point I'm getting to, they're going to say he's a conspiracy theorist, he's anti-vax. These are all true. I could barely even talk about it online without the risk of being censored. And as they're taking away our freedom, so they're enslaving us, they'll build you a George Floyd memorial. They'll give you a Juneteenth holiday because they know the right will defend it. The right will argue with the Trump, the this, the that, the black conservative, the white conservative. It's just another thing for people to argue about as they literally enslave us. That's what they're doing. Slavery. Slavery, enslavement is losing your freedom of choice. So if you're a slave, it's like, yeah, they're not killing every slave. It's like you're working. Okay. We work too. Okay. But then you lose access. If you can't go to the gym, if you can't go to the park, if you can't run your business, if you get arrested for having an event, if you're being segregated by if you got the big pharmacy injection, if they're replacing you with cardboard cutouts, if they're replacing you with virtual holograms and sports games, you're literally being enslaved. I'm not going to go on a Marjorie Taylor Greene apology tour because I'm not sorry, because I know what the word means and I know what's happening. It's like you can't compare it. I mean, you can compare it to everything you want, but yeah, you probably shouldn't compare it to the Armenian genocide or the Holocaust or the original slave trade of the 16 and 1700s, which I'm not doing. But the word itself, they're bastardizing. It means what it means, and it's happening again in a different form, in a more digital, in a more big pharma form. So that's just what it is. It's the same with the word anti-vaxxer. They say that the word anti-vaxxer, now that it says anti-vaxxer means you're against mandating vaccines. Most people who are pro-vaccine, who got the big pharma vaccine, I talked to someone recently who got the vaccine. She was like, of course I'm against mandating it. I don't want to force people to get it. I got it for myself. So now most of the country is an anti-vaxxer by definition because most people don't agree with mandatory vaccination. They just bastardize and change and manipulate the dictionary. So people don't know anything. And they argue over Juneteenth and they argue over the George Floyd situation and the memorial. But these are all just throwing you a bone and people go chase it. And then they're taking everything. The big tech companies made a fortune. The big billionaires made a fortune. There were 9. I got to Google it real quick because I don't want to get the number wrong. How many new pharma billionaires were there? Let's see. Billionaires. New. How many? COVID. This is CNN. COVID vaccine profits mint 9 new pharma billionaires. Do you guys remember that cute theory? They were saying, we're not making any money from this. Oh, no, this is not for us. This is for the world. I mean, we're just breaking even. Okay, then why are there 9 new pharma billionaires? Somebody's making money. I mean, I did okay last year because I worked digitally, but, wow, 9 new billionaires. Imagine if your company, say you work for Ford, okay? Imagine if you could just shut down your competition and be like, oh, what do you know? Like, you got to go to me or Audi or Tesla, you only have three options. You could close off all your other semi competitors. You're like, oh well, the train, we're gonna close trains, we're gonna close this, we're gonna close that, and you have to buy. If you don't drive my car, you can't come to this event. If you don't drive my car, you can't go to school. Oh yeah, what a convenient law. That's oh no, this is for your health. 9 new pharma billionaires. Okay, so they're making a killing. Big tech made a killing. Bill Gates, Elon Musk, who actually was cool about the lockdowns, but these people, is their money going backwards? Are they just spiraling? Is Facebook losing power? No, they're gaining power. So they're ushering in this new era of digital slavery where they control 90+% of communication. If you put in Apple and Samsung, I mean they nearly have damn near a monopoly on how we're able to communicate. They shut down in-person events. Well, that's how you can get around Facebook. Just talk to someone in person. Oh, you can't talk in person anymore because they say limit it to 2 or more people. So they wiped out their competition, and now they have a damn near monopoly on communication, and now they're censoring speech. That means they've successfully gone around the First Amendment to take away the First Amendment. Oh, we're a corporation. We just have the power to work with government officials and lobby them and work hand in hand with the pharmacy agencies, and us together, we're going to shut down our competition, and our profits are going up, and now we're replacing people with cardboard cutouts. I mean, if you can't go to a basketball game, but they're going to replace you with a cardboard cutout and an Oculus, VR halftime show, this is nothing but the new era of digital slavery. So of course they're going to build a George Floyd statue. Of course they're going to give you a Juneteenth holiday. And of course, even conservatives I follow are taking the bait. I want this holiday. They're not celebrating the emancipation of slavery. They've had 250 years to make this a holiday. And for my lifetime, very few people even really cared about it. It's awesome that it happened, but they're bringing it back now to distract you from the new digital slave movement. And these are the games that they play. So, and it's also just feeds hand in hand with all their BLM stuff where they're going to bring it up, raise the hatred of white people, raise the hatred of America. And this is all tactical. I'm not somebody, and I know sometimes people watch my videos and they say, oh my God, this guy wants everybody to vote Republican and conservative. Oh, he thinks Republicans are the answer. Trust me, if you watch enough of my videos, people unfollow me because I've been too critical of Trump, although I would say not critical enough. Maybe I'll go on a 20-minute anti-Trump rant. No, I'm just kidding. But in general, I don't think Republicans are perfect. I think they're phony for the most part. But this is a fact of what I'm about to say. If there were no Republicans and no conservatives in the country or in Congress, this country would be enslaved. Okay? We would be worse off than Canada. We would be worse off than the UK. They're not open. What's open? What's more open? Florida. Where are their fans? In Utah. Well, what are there in Utah besides white Mormons? Conservatives. They vote, more conservative. So without conservatives and Republicans, they're not perfect. They're not awesome. There's a lot of dickheads, excuse my language, and there's a lot of scummy, phony Republican politicians who are just total D-bags. But without Republicans and conservatives, this country would be locked down. And lockdown is just a prison slave term. Oh, I'm not enslaving you. I'm just locking you down and restricting your travel and taking away your sporting events and taking away your job and taking away your kids' park and taking away your basketball hoop. Oh, I'm not enslaving you. I'm just locking you down. It's slavery, guys. They're just giving you a new word. It's a quarantine mask mandate. It's just a lockdown for COVID-19. Okay, you lock down prisoners. You lock down slaves. You don't lock down free citizens. You don't take away their health facilities, take away their children's school, take away their restaurant. Like this is not what you do to a free society. It's because we're not a free society. So how people haven't figured this out yet is just shocking to me. But these are the games that they play. And they have these little things where people are like, well, Trump said the election. It's like, that's great. I hope there's an audit and I hope it works. But what's the point of going back to 2020 and getting the guy who clearly showed that he is incapable of keeping the country open when he was there? And you guys want to go in a time machine back to Donald Trump because you love him so much? It's like, and then the left just, but the point I'm trying to get to is I don't think Republicans and conservatives are perfect, but you're damn right I'm going to keep voting Republican, not because I think they're great. With no Republicans, this country is completely locked down, okay? It's all the Republicans who want to take the mask off your face. It's all the Republicans who want to give you the option of not getting a mandatory vaccination. Liberals are the new slave masters. I know I'm not popular enough for them to care, but I hope they get ticked off. I mean, I don't hope so because I like to live a peaceful life. I will never apologize. I'm not apologizing like MGT. I'm not apologizing like any of these people. I'm not sorry for what I'm saying. I mean, when you're trying to force vaccinate somebody, put somebody in a mask, lock them down, take away their freedom, take away their school, take away their churches, take away their gyms. You're the slave master. That's the liberal mentality right now. They're so elitist. They're so out of control. And I vote Republican just as a defense mechanism. Like, at least I could breathe a little bit. At least I can, if these people get their way, I hope people understand what we were saying months ago. I want to read this. Someone said, did you hear Trump warn against jab for kids? I did. I saw that, and I'm glad he finally said something. It's been a long time, and he basically said he doesn't think kids should be forced it. But here's my beef with Trump before I move on. I'm glad he said it. I gave him credit. I gave him props on Twitter. I said, thank you. I go hard at him because he's the leader of the free world. He's got hundreds of millions of people following his everything like a marching leader, and he's not even making it a top 5 issue. It's great that he said something. He should be saying something every other day, and it should be a number 1 issue. If it's not a top 2 issue, he's not my guy. I'm glad he said it, but saying it one time on a news conference after 30 of them bragging about the vaccine and never saying it, it's not enough for me. It's definitely a start, and this is what I try to do with my platform. I try to shame him for doing the wrong thing, congratulate him for doing the right thing, and that's what makes people change. You don't make people change if you just love what they do. If he doesn't care about it, why would he? When he gets enough backlash from his supporters, he'll actually care. So I'm not a bad person. I'm just saying, this is how you actually get change from politicians. It's not by drooling over them on the left and the right. It's by saying, no, you suck until you stand up for the kids. So thank you, Trump, for saying that. But, he has a lot more to do because this country is screwed from what he did, and saying it one time is not enough, in my opinion. He needs to go way harder. Ron DeSantis is doing better, but thank you, Trump, for finally saying something. Let me read some super chats. Someone said Trump is new to the game. Give him a break, guys. Let's not make this the Trump stream, okay? He did Operation Warp Speed, trillions of dollars of loans. Rushed the vaccines, bragged about them. If you want to be a Trump slave, that's fine. Put a Trump slave hat on and be like, I'm a Trump slave. That's not for me, okay? I'm not a slave. I'm not a peasant. I'm not a serf. I don't care if Daddy Trump is the one who did it. Give him a break. He did worse for this country than Obama, Bush, and Clinton combined, okay? With his lockdowns, he was a crappier president than Obama. Yeah, it hurts to say that, but it's true. Obama didn't turn me into a slave. Donald Trump did. Give him a break. Give me a break, Donald Trump. I'm not your slave. So if he's going to treat me like a peasant, I have way too much respect for myself as a human to just bow down on the altar of slavery to Daddy Donnie Darko, the vaccine salesman. This is why he gets away with it. His supporters just love it. Just stop, guys. It's embarrassing. Daniel David said, a friend of mine recently told me he has plans to get the V anyway, so it doesn't affect him if they introduce the passport. Well, that's why a lot of people are doing it. They're being threatened. This is not a free country. We are being held for ransom by Big Pharma and both parties over a vaccine. The corporate class, in my opinion, mandatory masks should be illegal. Mandatory vaccination should be illegal. You get what I'm saying? Len said you did not get it, bro. Guys, if you want to go follow Daddy Donnie Trump, the clown vaccine salesman, go march around the Pied Piper, okay? This is real man streams, okay? We don't have Stockholm syndrome here. We don't drool at the feet of our slave masters, okay? So he's done 10 million times more to bring modern day slavery and vaccine tyranny, and him saying it one time on television is not going to change that. So he has a lot more to do. But here's the point I'm trying to make. People like me are the reason he actually probably will say something. When he feels backlash, he'll actually say something. If everybody just drools over his feet, he's never going to do anything right. It's like you guys are incentivizing slavery. You guys are incentivizing him to be a crappy leader. Why would he change when you love it so much? So you can thank me later. It's people like not Trump, but Ron DeSantis and others who kept this country afloat. But I guess he in turn helped a little bit, but by getting Ron DeSantis there. Just don't ruin this stream, okay? If you want to drool over Trump, there's thousands of accounts that do no real reporting. They don't talk about PCR tests. They don't talk about Carrie Mullis. They don't talk about lockdowns, quarantines, mask mandates. They just drool over Trump. Are there not enough Trump drooly pages that have no identity or spirit of their own? So they just try to reminisce living the life of being in Trump's shadow their whole life. This is not what I do here, okay? I do real reporting, real analysis. We're the ones who broke stories in March, April, May, June, July last year. Still nobody's talking about it. So if you want that type of content, just don't ruin my stream. We've had enough of the drooly Daddy Trump stuff. Like there's so many pages that have nothing to contribute besides just, well, maybe he's gonna save my life soon. Let's calm down. Dialogue said, the only solution I see is to keep contributing to those who are speaking the truth, like yourself. Keep doing the right thing. I'm long-term optimistic, but we have to fight for truth. Thank you, Dialogue Process. I appreciate the support. Let me read another super chat real quick. Jacob, thank you so much. But this is how you do it, folks, and it's bigger than just Trump too. In April, May, June, everybody wants to play along. Like, okay, I'll get it, so I don't have to get the passport. It's like, dude, they're gonna keep taking from you. You have to put your foot down. Someone said I brought Trump into it. I read a comment. I talk to people here. Someone said your link does not work. You have to go directly to your page. Yeah, I know they're messing with my streams. They're messing with my feeds. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. They're making it harder and harder and harder. If they didn't mess with my streams, I probably have 5,000 people here right now. But we have about 2,000 on both. It's all good. Someone said Dems and Republicans are controlled opposition. I mean, I appreciate Republicans for not being as far as Democrats, but I'm making my own narrative. Okay, I don't live in other people's worlds. Like, I came on here, I told you what I think about the George Floyd statue, about Juneteenth, and about vaccination, segregation. I'm not a follower. A lot of people are following. That's fine. Everybody, it's good to follow somebody sometimes, but I'm not out here. I'm not living in Trump's world. I'm not out here living in a Trump fan page world where they just post Trump quotes all the time. And I'm telling you, though, I'm not alone. I know people are going to get mad every now and then. I've seen on Instagram, I have a lot of friends who are pro-Trump pages. They pro-Trump stuff all the time. I'm seeing them get ratioed on their own Instagram. You don't see me get ratioed on my own Instagram because all of my video reportings are just, I'm cranking out classics every week. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying my reporting is pretty damn good. So there's not that many negative comments. But anyway, there's pro-Trump pages, conservative Republican pro-Trump pages, and they posted this thing about Trump. They're getting ratioed in their own comment section. And I didn't even say anything. I'm reading that they said Trump was bad on the Second Amendment. Trump infringed on the Second Amendment. Trump infringed on the First Amendment. Trump was bad with the vaccines. I'm not alone. People could act like I'm so crazy and I'm so bad, but I really think the new silent majority is not just conservatives. For a while, the silent majority was, I like Trump, but I don't want to tell anybody. I like Trump, but I don't want to tell you. That's the silent majority. Now the silent majority is, I voted for Trump, but I don't like the fact that he's just turned into a Pfizer salesman. That's the new silent majority. Someone said, I like you, but I'm clueless. If I'm clueless, then why are pro-Trump pages that nonstop post Trump stuff, why are they getting ratioed by their own supporters who are accurately talking about all of the things that Trump didn't do the entire time? What am I clueless about? You could tell me. Maybe you're clueless and you're projecting because someone said, just get jab. I'll pass. Thank you, though. Yeah, I mean, you could act like I'm so crazy, but people are caught in this like cult mentality. If he doesn't do it, it's like, dude, it's up to people. It doesn't even matter if you're a basketball player. They're gonna mass test the hell out of you. They're gonna put a mask on you for the rest of your life until you say no. Doesn't matter if you voted for Trump or Hillary. It just so happens that Republicans are the ones that are pushing somewhat against it, and Democrats are the one ushering in the new era of digital mask, big pharma slavery. That's just what's happening. Of course, there's certain people who are better than others, but that's, I don't make the rules. That's just what's happening. But it's really up to people. It doesn't matter if you're in Florida. It doesn't matter if you're in Texas. The big corporations, the big sports, the big banks, the big airlines, the big cruise lines, they're going to run the show for the most part. Maybe you can get a win like Ron DeSantis can, but for the most part, they're running the whole country. It doesn't even matter. It's got to come from the people. But Trump has everybody so distracted. If he was a real freedom leader, he would organize all his people not to get set up at the FBI Capitol event, but he would organize his people to actually go against medical tyranny. He says it one time and people want to act like he saved America. It's like he did 20,000 times more to bring the vaccines than he did to fight against them. He said one thing. Clap, clap, clap. Good job, bro. You have a long way to go. But if he actually organizes people to say no, a peaceful day of just saying no, this could have been over a year ago. But this is why people need to stop following false idols of false leaders. It's like you make your whole life around a person who doesn't really care about you that much, and you get the results. This all ends when enough people actually just say no. But most people will do it. Most people will get a test. Most people will get a jab, and most people will just go along with the show. I'm not reading that. Someone says some of those people are being abused in jail right now. Oh, for sure. That whole I mean, Tucker Carlson did a really good piece. If you guys want to watch that Tucker Carlson piece on the sixth event, listen, people get so mad at me. I'm not the leader who set up my own support base. People are like, you hate Trump supporters. I love Trump supporters. I love Trump supporters so much that I would never do to them what Trump did. I would never lock the country down. I would never rush a vaccine. I would never brag about it. And I would never set up my own supporters at the Capitol and then ignore them as they got beaten in jail. That's the leader Trump is. He doesn't give a crap about the tens of thousands of people who got their lives ruined for the crime of following Daddy Trump, the vaccine salesman, to the Capitol setup event. That whole event was a setup. I said that months ago, but Tucker Carlson did a way better job of explaining why. I just had an inkling. Tucker Carlson knows exactly why, but it's like, how was my day yesterday? My day yesterday was good. My day today was good. Definitely, if you guys can root for Bryson DeChambeau, it's a good guy uh, in the PGA Tour. Someone said I'm walking out of the store that require a mask. I call them sheep. Keep up the good fight. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not wearing one. I didn't. No one said anything to me in months. Someone said my brother's job said he can't work in the office if no vax, so he chooses to work from home. How's that legal? I guess it's illegal. I don't know that. Like, listen, I don't want to talk about Trump. I like Trump. I hate Trump. Whatever. I don't even want to talk about Trump anymore. I want to talk about vaccination segregation. It doesn't matter what he said or what he did. Oh, he said it wasn't going to be mandatory. Who cares what he said? It is mandatory. Well, Trump said he doesn't want it. It doesn't matter what he wants. What matters is what it is. So what is it? There's millions upon tens of millions of people being, I know multiple people in my own friend group who are now faced with the decision, get a vaccine or lose your job. This is happening in America. How? I mean, I don't even care because it's making me a bigger superstar. But it's not all about me. I'd rather not be a big superstar. But you get what I'm saying? It's like I'm not doing this for attention. Like, oh my God, it's making me more popular because I'm one of the only people who says it, and I don't even need to be popular. I'm just saying. People are like, oh, you're just doing this for attention. You just want anti-Trump. No, I'm doing it because how in the world could you be a news reporter and not be talking about vaccination segregation? It's taking over our country. I have two friends in the last 2 days who texted me, said, I'm losing my job of 3 years, 4 years if I don't get a vaccine. And no one's talking about it like it's a big deal. It's the biggest deal. How is it not the biggest deal in the country? So it's like, oh, you just want to get attention against Trump. Like, no, I actually care about our country. And I'm not a slave. I'm not a prisoner. I don't take well to people screaming at me to put cloth over my breathing holes or telling me that if I don't get an mRNA injection in my arm, that I'm a second tier slave citizen. Like, yeah, this is kind of a bigger deal. It's a bigger deal than, someone said Peggy Hall is the plug. She's very cool. I've met her. Someone said this guy talks about Trump more than Biden. You guys just don't want to listen, do you? You just want to talk about Trump and Biden. Oh, we need Trump at the G. Why? So you have someone who you like that stands there and does the same thing? I don't care. I don't talk about Biden because he's brain dead. You want me to just share Biden memes all the time? They're funny, but the dude is losing his mind. He's going to get replaced, and he's not really running the show. And neither is Trump. If Trump wasn't able to keep the country up, here's a spoiler alert that you don't want to talk about. I don't talk about Joe Biden because there's no point. I talk about Trump because he's got 100 million supporters and Joe Biden doesn't have that many, and Trump isn't doing anything. So if his supporters wake up, the country's saved. If his supporters follow Daddy Trump off a cliff, the country's done. I don't talk about Biden because why would I? He's clearly not running the show. He's clearly not making decisions. Why? What do you want me to just talk about Biden? Oh, Biden messed up with his speech. It's like, duh. The dude always messes up with his speech. He can't talk. That's old news. I'm trying to talk about deeper things here. Why they're bringing up the statue in Juneteenth. But if you want me to talk about Biden, I could do a whole Biden routine and make it really fun. Guys, did you see Biden the other day? He fell down the stairs, huh? What's up with Biden at the G7 summit? We should have Trump there, man. Imagine we had Trump instead of Biden. What's he talking about on stage? He's always just stumbling. It's like, is this on? Is this mic on? T. Falk said, Callie went to Trader Joe's on the 15th. No mask, of course. The girl at the checkout, I could feel and see how mad she was. No eye contact. These people are conditioned. It's bad, brother. I'm glad you got your stuff though. Someone said I didn't know you were into golf. I like all sports. I'm a sports fanatic. So I like golf. I like tennis. I like soccer. I like basketball. I actually, you know, Bryson, I saw Bryson liking and commenting on my videos, Bryson DeChambeau. So I messaged him and I said, "Yo, I appreciate the love. I'd like to check out an event." And he said, "Come to the USA Open." So I've never been to a golf event, but Bryson invited me, and I'm here all week. I'm rooting him on, and I got to hang out with him for a while. He's a very cool guy, very smart guy, and he made me more of a golf fan. I always like golf, but now I support Bryson. Hopefully he keeps crushing, and we'll see what happens. What's my golf handicap? I suck at golf. I'm just here to watch Bryson. I'm not good. Orlean said, I used to like you, but I'm done. Bye, Orlean. I'll see you later. It's like, man, I'm sorry for talking about something that matters. I should just stumble about Joe Biden. Man, Trump is so cool. Man, here, I'll do something for you, Orlean. I got you. Here's my shtick to get you to stay. Man, did you see Biden fall down the stairs? Dude, he's so dumb. Man, did you see Biden stumble in his speech? What a dummy. He's embarrassing our country. It's true, he is embarrassing our country. But dude, I wish I had Trump back. We need Trump back in the White House. I mean, where would we be in this country if Trump didn't print trillions of dollars with Nancy Pelosi, lock the country down, give Fauci a platform on television for 2 months, rush mRNA injections from Pfizer and Moderna, and completely go against who he was in 2015, being skeptical of jabs, to just being the biggest, vaccine salesman outside of Fauci and Bill Gates. I mean, that's what this country needs, not Joe Biden stumbling up there. We need Donald Trump standing up there being hilarious, selling vaccinations. I mean, because the only way that you could fight mandatory vaccinations is if you bring the vaccinations, because then just say one time on Newsmax or something that you're against it. It's funny. Someone sends me all this stuff. Like, people think I haven't thought about this, like as if I haven't been doing analysis since March. Like they're shocking me with these new ideas. Like someone sent me this girl, no offense, doesn't matter which gender you are, but she's like, Trump had to rush the vaccine. If Trump didn't rush the vaccine, we'd still be, he rushed the vaccine so we weren't locked down for 5 years. And they send that to me like, see, she gets it. Trump had to rush the vaccine or else we'd be locked up for 5 years. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you would allow Trump or Biden to lock you up for 5 years? I'm not like, you can't even lock me up for 5 days. You don't, like, you're admitting that you would stay locked down for 5 years without a vaccine. And now you're pushing this premise that the only way you can be free is with a vaccine. So Trump can lock you down, and the only way that you can ever be free again is if he gets a Pfizer and a Moderna product and jams it down your throat, or lets the corporations jam it down your throat and acts like he doesn't even see it. Like, this is why conservatives lose. And they send this to me like, haha, I figured it out. This is why Trump rushed the vaccine. If he didn't rush it, we would have been locked down for 5 years. It's like, I'm not being locked down. Maybe you would have stayed locked down for 5 years, but what does it mean to be free if you can only be free if you have a vaccine shoved down your throat? You're not free at that point. So it's like, the only way Trump could set us free is by making us slaves and shoving big pharma down our throat. It's like, this is why conservatives lose. They think they're like intellectuals. They're, see, anomaly, we cracked the code. I'm like, that's dumber than anything I said last April. Like, it took you a year and a half to say something stupid, and then you said it to me like you're blowing my mind or something. Like you're, it's like, guys, this is why conservatives can't conserve anything. They're like, that makes total sense. I mean, if he didn't emergency use authorize this, we would have been locked down for 5 years. Like, no, we would have been locked down for 5 years because conservatives don't actually stand for anything free. It's so, it's like, and people get mad when I say that. It's ridiculous. Someone said, agree, it makes zero sense. I'm a very logical person. I give Trump the benefit of the doubt 90 times out of 100, but it's like, dude, people lost their minds over this guy. It's like, they'll make up the dumbest theories. Like, a year and a half ago, I would have told you, what would you say if the country locked down? Well, of course, I'd be against it. That's communism. That's slavery. What would you say if Trump turned into a vaccine salesman? Oh, I'd oppose it. And then he does it. And they're like, the only way we could have been free is if he did that. I mean, he saved the world with the vaccines. And you're like, dude, it's so embarrassing. The logic is just like non-existent. But you know what? You really like at a time like this, you figure out who knows what they're talking about and who doesn't. Like all these Trump influencers, and I listen, I have a lot of friends, there's a lot of intellects. I'm not knocking, there's hundreds of people, thousands of people crushing it, millions of people, but I'm talking about influencers. But then you have the influencers that they never say anything. You know, it's like, oh, the left, oh, it's the radical left. And I saw these people years ago. I'm like, as soon as Trump loses, or as soon as Trump's not there to wipe their butt, these people are not going to know what to do with themselves. And that's exactly what happened, where it's like, you know, the second Trump goes left, either you're a critical thinker and you're able to agree to disagree, or you don't have an identity because you just ride Trump's coattails. So a lot of these people are like freaking people out because it's like they don't know what to do with themselves if they're posting like, oh, Trump, 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 Trump. It's like, oh, the left, the radical left. It's like, yeah, the radical left sucks, but the right became the left last year. So it's a mind F. I don't want to say the word, but it's like when these things, like, you're left and you're pro-war, but you hate Trump so much they brainwash you into being, or you're anti-war, and then you hate Trump so much they brainwash you into being pro-war. They've manipulated the minds of the left off of their hate for Trump, and they've manipulated the minds of the right off their love for Trump and off their hate for the left. Someone said you're wrong to completely trash Trump. Well, I'm not trashing him. I'm not a slave. I'm not a prisoner. I'm not a peasant. I'm not a serf. I'm nobody's little slave boy or girl, okay? I'm not a girl, but you get what I'm saying. I'm not a slave. So when Daddy Trump treats me like a slave, my job is not to make excuses for it. My job is to tell him, bro, you rushed this vaccine, you bragged about it, it's here, it's being jammed down our throats, and he spends way much more energy saying, I did it, I rushed it, I want credit, I'm the best, and spends barely any time saying, hey, what about the millions of kids being forced? What about, he doesn't spend that much because he doesn't care. So you think your whole life is making excuses for Trump. That's why the country's the way it is, because that's what most people think. Well, I'm just going to make excuses. I'll wear the mask. I'll get the jab. I'll do this. I'll do that. It's like, that's why they do this stuff, because so many people love to follow this guy. Someone said, talk about all the good things he's done. I've gone over this. The cultural impact he has is huge, but most of his major accomplishments with the economy got wiped away. What does it mean to have low black unemployment just to spiral the country with trillions of dollars of lockdown loans? It's like he blew it. He sucks. He's a worse president than Obama. Yeah, go away. I don't care. He sent the country further left than Obama, Bush, and Clinton. When Clinton was president, the country was more right wing. When Obama was besides Obamacare, which was trash, Obama's America was more right wing. Under 2020, Trump sent the country into communism and slavery, and he doesn't even seem to really care that much. He's like, well, at least I did it when I did the travel bans and the lockdowns and the warp speed. Dude, Trump sucks. So it's like, you guys want to like blah, 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 lick the dirt off his toes. It's so annoying. It's been a year and a half of this. It's like, why would you even follow me at this point? Anomaly, you're losing followers. Great. I wish I would lose more because these people still come back. Like, but Anomaly, the only way to be free is if we get locked down with the vaccine. He had to do the vaccine. What else would he do? I don't know. Be the leader that you thought he was? I'm sorry. Maybe he could have been the leader you thought he was. But instead, yeah, he turned into Bill Gates. Okay. So he's Bill Gates. So what's the point of making so many excuses for him? Wow. I didn't vote for Bill Gates, or I didn't mean to. An unapologetic apologist said, that's the problem with this stupid paradigm. Both sides arrive at the same conclusion. COVID is the problem we need to fix. We're destroying our lives. Trump went right along with the agenda. Well, the agenda is never going to get bashed because people just spend time. And this is why I talked about this. If people just listen to me instead of yelling at me, we'd actually get somewhere. And you don't have to, but it's like, this is what I'm trying to talk about with the George Floyd statue and Juneteenth. They're not doing it to set you free. They're doing it because it's a distraction. And it's the same with loving Trump this much. If loving Trump this much is distracting you from lockdowns, PCR tests, how they're counting, which Republican is telling the truth? I can't name a single one. Thomas Massey says, well, I'm not going to get the vaccine because I'm a science guy, and I don't think I should get it because I had COVID, which is awesome. Is there any Republican saying I didn't have COVID and I still don't want to get it just because that's my freedom? It's like the right just becomes a worse version of the left, and the right thinks they're fighting the left, and I come and say something, and people just can't handle it. Who cares? I'm so tired of it. Read these. Have I heard of the rapper Kolichi? If not, check him out, bro. He's getting people off the pills. Maybe collab and do a big Pharma song. That sounds awesome. I'll check him out. Someone said, thanks for keeping it real, brother. We must divest in the beast system, do our best to be self-sufficient. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Let me just, I'm sorry. These are coming so fast. Where's the $5 one? Jim Jones said, in the Bay Area, lots of people wearing masks in irrelevant ways and making their toddler children wear one in scorching heat. This is my narrative. Here's the left's narrative. We have to do this. The right saying we have to defend Trump and Operation. Here's what I'm saying. Masks should be illegal. Okay, forcing a child to wear a mask is child abuse. Forcing a worker outdoors to wear a mask or even indoors, it's abusive. The Supreme Court should be on this crap. Mandatory masks should be illegal. Mandatory vaccines should be illegal. This whole thing is a sham. And any Republican, whether it's Trump or anyone else, not saying this, they're not doing enough to me. So it's not about, I love this country. I love my freedom. I'm not going to be at this rate. You're going to be dragged off to the gulag and you're going to be like, but Trump didn't mean to do this. Anomaly. Trump didn't mean to do it. It's like, who cares what he meant to do? He screwed up and he's like an egotistical vaccine salesman. So at this, you're like 2 steps away from the gulag. But anomaly, the only way to stop communism for Trump was to bring it in. The only way to stop vaccine tyranny was to rush the vaccine. Without the vaccine anomaly, we would have been here for 5 years. It's like, no one's going to care in the gulag. You're going to be telling your gulag mate, you're like, but I had a Trump sticker on my car. It's like, that's awesome. I voted for him. I have Trump ice cubes, but this is bigger than him, okay? It's bigger than what he did or didn't say. I have my opinions, you have yours. But let me talk about what matters. I've been talking about it since March. Trump was ushering it in. I mean, it's like, what are we supposed to, how are we going to fight communism if we don't bring communism? The only way to stop communism it's like, someone's like, anomaly, what promise didn't he keep? It's like, he said America will never be a socialist nation as he was literally making America a socialist nation. Like, that was his 4th of July speech. America will never be a socialist nation. It's like, we are socialists, bro. You shut the country down, printed trillions of dollars, and we're still not recovered. It's like, am I the only one who notices this? Am I taking crazy pills like Mugatu? Someone said my link notification is being banned by Facebook. I get it. They're banning my link notification. I'm well aware. I see exactly what's happening. They're banning my link notification. They're writing smear articles about me. Former presidents' daughters are saying I'm a conspiracy theorist. Trust me, I understand what's going on. I'm very intuitive. So I guess you got to find I apologize. Got to find the link somewhere else. Follow me on Telegram, t.me/DreamRoChat. Clearly, they don't want people to watch my videos, but here's the thing. People keep finding them and they keep watching them. So it's all good. I'm sorry. Thank you guys for telling me, though. I didn't mean to be rude about that. I'm just saying I'm well aware. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. I don't know what to do about it. Facebook's doing what they're doing. So the point I'm trying to get to, okay, outside of Trump, pro-Trump, you love him, you hate him, whatever. This is what our country's facing. They're throwing the left bones. They're throwing the right bones. And I don't know very many people who are making this their core issue. Most Republicans, they're talking about the audit, build a wall. I'm not saying building a wall is not important. I'm not saying an audit's not important. But when you have President Trump and President Biden both serving their role in the lockdown and vaccine agenda, the election's not going to save you. You get what I'm saying? It's going to be, and it's good to have fair elections, but it's like, until you get, the right cares about everything but the lockdowns. The left, and they try to say to me, oh, to Florida's free. It's more free, but maybe I'm a purist. Maybe I'm a dreamer, like John Lennon said, but I want to live in an America like 2019. I want to live in an America that doesn't have mass testing everywhere. I don't want vaccinated only sections at sports games. I don't want to live in big pharma slave world. So this is not enough for me. Ron DeSantis gets credit because he goes hard. The rest of them could do nothing for me. Trump, it's like, if you're not going at least as hard as him or harder, get out of my way. I don't care. I don't care. And I don't do this to be mean. You think I need more people to be mad at me? I'm never going to be a slave. I promise you. I will never be a peasant. I will never be a serf. I would much rather go out on my feet than die on my knees, or whatever the word is, or live on my knees. You know what I'm saying? So I know people want to make excuses. Like, I'm not living this way. I'm not going to accept this because this is a road to something that's not good. You get what I'm saying? Like, this needs to go the other way right now. So I have no energy making excuses for a vaccine salesman. None. I have zero time to make excuses for Trump. Okay. He's done more for Moderna and Pfizer than he's done for his own supporters. And a lot of them are rotting in prison right now, and he could care less. But if you want to think he cares about you, that's fine. But I have zero time for it. Okay? I'm focused on not being a prisoner. Someone said we need to have conversations about conversations, conservatives. That reminds me of the Owen Benjamin made a video on Twitter when he was still around, and it was like Sam Harris talking to Ben Shapiro, and he was like, he clipped up all the times they had conversations, and he was like, conversations. He's like, these are the conversations we need to have. And he's like, conversations like this are really conversations. He's like, the conversations we have are really conversations that lead to bigger conversations and conversation. It was literally, he made a whole compilation of like Sam Harris talking to Ben Shapiro. And they said conversations like 1,000 times, like conversations like this. He's like, conversations like this are really going to change the world. He's like, conversations about deeper conversations are going to lead to these other conversations. It's so funny. I got to find that video. Unapologetic. He said, have a good night, bro. Keep speaking truth. Dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery. I don't have it in me. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to go to the gulag. I'm not trying to live in like a Black Mirror prison world. Like, let me try to find that conversations video. It's so funny. Did I see Jon Stewart talk about that? Yeah, I did my last video on it. You can watch my last live stream. I think Owen's Twitter got deleted, but it's like, I'm going to try to find it, but I don't think I can. Oh, I found it. All right. Here, time out. Here's a video. So this is Sam Harris and Ben Shapiro. I think Owen Benjamin did this. He took all of the clips of them saying conversations and like, listen, this is one conversation. They talk about having a conversation for longer than anything.
We're now part of this kind of deviant conversation.
So we're having long-form conversations.
The capacity to even have these conversations.
These conversations are happening.
Because there's no way to have a conversation with unifying those of us who are having these conversations.
We're having conversations.
And that, of course, is a conversation.
The conversation continues even once you have data.
We're supposed to have conversations when you legitimately can't cite data before you even start having a conversation. These new conversations, are you optimistic or are you pessimistic? Do you think that these new conversations are going to...
I'm very optimistic about our having conversations like this.
A constant conversation between God and man.
We're having a conversation that gets recorded.
Active conversation that goes into the interpretation.
A merely human conversation. It's people like ourselves that have always done this work. Between a 21st century conversation.
You and I will sit here and our conversation will be better than a conversation 1,000 years ago. Are these conversations kind of pointless because...
No.
Or
conversation about ethical truth.
I feel like you're playing a little bit of a trick.
You notice that you're hearing a conversation that you're not hearing.
Final parting question, because we didn't even get into rationality or free will. Exactly.
Bit of conversation.
Definitely going to have you back for a much longer.
Can you believe that's only one? That's only one conversation that they had. They said conversation 1,000 times. That was only one video, guys. I don't know how long that video was. Probably an hour. Like, what were they talking about? Having like our conversations are really. I mean, our conversations are better than conversations a year ago. I mean, these conversations are. He's like, well, the conversation. It's like, my gosh. But I mean, you know, I'll check out that podcast. So funny. He's like, listen, these conversations are conversations. All right. Let's get back to it. Someone said Jon Stewart Jon Stewart crushed it on Colbert. Let me see. Someone said I want sheets now. All right. We'll read some. What time is it? 10:05. I got like 20 minutes or so. I'm gonna hang out for a little bit. But if y'all, I didn't mean to go on my little rant, but I'm very focused, guys, on this medical stuff. Like, I don't think any conservative topic matters unless people get to the core of what's going on. And if everyone's following someone who's not getting to the core of what's going on, and we just decide to talk about how they're doing this and why it's like, give them a break. It's like, how about no? I mean, okay, you could give anyone you want a break, but I'm focused on giving our country a break. Our country, more than anyone deserves a break. Our country deserves a break for mass testing, mass vaccination, segregation. And if we don't get a break, we're never going to get a break. So that's what I'm focused on. So I have laser-like focus. Try not to throw off my vibe, because I'm not backing down. Someone said, Anomaly, what would you say to those who think Operation Warp Speed made it possible for the vaccine to not be mandatory? I mean, people, this is just the truth. People love Trump so much, they will make up any theory in their head to try to figure out why what he did is good. And that's why it's become a false religion. If Obama did Operation Warp Speed, no one would be having this conversation on the right. If Clinton or Bush or Mitt Romney did Operation Warp Speed, not a single Republican would be acting that this was some sort of secret plan to make it not mandatory. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, what do I think about it? I think people are so afraid to admit that he was part of an agenda that wasn't good for the country or good for them. So there's 20 different theories on why it, some people think it's this, some people think it's that. I think that's a totally stupid idea. To me, that's equivalent to saying, I planted this apple tree and an apple fell off the apple tree, but the reason I planted the apple tree was so the apple didn't fall. I wanted the apple to disappear. It's the same sort of thing. Operation Warp Speed leads to mandatory vaccination. Operation Warp Speed, if these would have taken 4 or 5 years, they wouldn't have been able to lock down. You think people would have stayed locked down for 5 years until Trump rushed a vaccine? It doesn't even make sense to have these theories. So, yeah, I mean, people in the Trump world, I've heard, I could literally go through 7 different theories that people tell me with utmost confidence, and it's like, you would never think this if it wasn't Trump. It's like trying to separate the lockdown and Operation Warp Speed too. Like, oh, he did this, but he didn't do that. It's like it's all part of the same show. It's all good though. Someone said, Anomaly, I'm gonna call you out. You bitched about Trump for over 20 minutes, and you're still here. So I must be fantastic. If you didn't want me to bitch about Trump for 20 minutes, I did bitch about Trump for 20 minutes, and you're still hanging out here. I must be one hell of a live streamer if you're still here. So appreciate your presence. I'm going to read this. Debbie, here's theory number 7. Sorry, but you're seriously wrong about Trump. He was pushing therapeutic drugs and he was blasted for it. Here's another funny thing, Debbie. I'll find a video sometime, and every politician on the planet, every single one, said, we have vaccines and therapeutics. We have vaccines and therapeutics. We have You could literally find a compilation. Macron, Trudeau, every leader on the planet said the same thing. We're doing vaccines and therapeutics, vaccines and therapeutics. And then Trump gets on TV and he says, we're doing the Operation Warp Speed. Okay, without me, if that would have taken 4 or 5 years, this would have went through approval. I did Operation Warp Speed and therapeutics. I did vaccines and therapeutics. And everyone in Trump world's like, oh my God, he's pushing therapeutics. It's like, do you believe yourself? He's Mr. Vaccine. Yeah, he pushed therapeutics and vaccine, just like every other world leader. You can't find me a single world leader that didn't push vaccines and therapeutics. Because under Operation Warp Speed, what did Operation Warp Speed fund? Vaccines and therapeutics. Regeneron that Trump used, that was funded under Operation Warp Speed too. It's a therapeutic that's funded under the same thing. This is not some revolutionary thing. It's like people seriously think Trump is Jesus Christ. He did vaccines and therapeutics. Dude, every politician said that. Do you want me to find the video? It's the same thing he said. It's just when he says it, you're like, oh my God, QAnon told me about this 3 years ago. Holy crush. Oh my God, he's going to save the world without. It's like, guys, get over it. It's like, it's destroying the right wing. It's like, it's really sad. I'm going to find therapeutics. I have the video. I just don't know what to search. They all said it. How do I spell? I don't know how to spell therapeutics. Got to go back to school. Let's see. I'm just going to search vaccines, puppets. Let's see if it comes up. Hold on. How do I spell therapeutics? Hold on. I can't find it for you now, but just trust me. I don't. They all said the same thing. It's how do you explain the fact that he pushed the therapeutics? Are you going to sit here on my stream and try to brainwash people into thinking Trump isn't pushing the vaccine? It's like people make up these new theories. Like, he wasn't pushing the vaccine. He was pushing therapeutics. He said the word vaccine 1,000 times. He pushed both, just like every other world leader. What's your deal? Come on, guys. You're not fooling anybody. Who fixed my teeth? What do you mean? Were they ever broken or something? Did I break my teeth? I think my teeth have always been fixed for the most part. Did something happen? Someone said, QAnon is falling into the right-wing side of tyranny. Neither side of the media will talk about Israel. Well, QAnon is like, yeah, I mean, they're like, oh, the only way to save the world is to just pretend it's secretly happening like Batman behind my back. Oh my God, Trump's going to go. It's like, yeah, don't stand up for yourself. Just keep telling a bunch of boomer MAGA moms who are like 55 on their cell phones, keep telling them that Trump's going to return. And listen, we love boomer MAGA moms here. Don't get me wrong. I'm not slandering moms. I love moms. We have moms, grandmas. We have a boomer base. I'm just saying, like, the people that believe the Q stuff, it's like too many MAGA moms in there. We got to get MAGA moms back on the right side. Dialogue said, I love Trump, but I can admit his family's pushing vaccines, and it's weird because all the comments on their posts are negative. They clearly know their fans don't like it. It's creepy. Well, this is where it pays off. You don't have to just agree with them. It's okay to disagree. In my opinion, it's good. If enough people disagreed and Trump wasn't as popular, he'd be forced to do what he has to do. But what's the point of being a populist if your base is so enthralled with you that they don't even have morals anymore? It's like, have your own set of convictions, and if this guy doesn't follow them, you're allowed. That's what you're supposed to do as a taxpayer. You're supposed to say, I don't like what you're doing. It's not acceptable. Not, oh yeah, it's a secret strategy for therapeutics. Why? I love seeing people get ratioed, and I'm telling you, I'm not alone. I have friends that are huge Trump supporters that have millions of followers. They posted this pro-Trump thing, and all the comments were negative. It looked like a bunch of me's in the comments. People always accuse me, and Emily, you hate Trump so much. Everyone in the comments hated Trump. No, they're all Trump voters. They just know he wasn't that strong on the Second Amendment. He wasn't that strong on the First Amendment. He wasn't that strong on economic stuff during the lockdown. So you could act like I'm alone, but I'm telling you, the new silent majority, people know what I know. And it's not because it's real. It's not like I have to make it up and invent it like QAnon. I'm telling you just what's going on, and people see it for themselves. And a lot of people, it's not like I tell them to think that. They come and find my channel like, oh, finally somebody's saying what I already know. Thank you for not. I'm telling you, it's not just me. There's more pro-Trump pages that are getting absolutely lit up by their own supporters. Americans love freedom, okay? We're not pushovers. We're not like our Canadian. No, I'm sorry, Canada. We got Canadians here. Listen, this ain't the UK, 1776, all right? We've been there. We've been there, done that. Jake said, too many people lie to themselves. It's everywhere. It goes well beyond politics, but I digress. No, I agree. And I think, it's like a psychological thing. If you lie to yourself, you're easy to lie to. Like, you don't have to be perfect, but awareness is important. I'm not perfect, but I know where I'm screwing up. Do I correct? I try to correct some things I'm working on other things, but it's like, you can't tell me anything I don't know about myself. I know myself better than anyone else does, especially because most people just know my videos and I have to live with myself all the time. But it's like, if you have self-awareness, you're not easy to lie to. It's like people who lie to themselves, and you could lie to yourself, but it's like an effect where at the bottom of your soul, I think people know it, where it's like, yeah, maybe it's okay. We'll get there. Someone said if Trump was one of them, he wouldn't be attacked so viciously. I mean, it's hard to tell what's going on. I'm not accusing him of being one or the other. Like, I'm just going off of what happened. I don't know Trump's whole life. I don't know if he was in on it. I don't know if he wasn't. I don't know if he's a good actor. I don't know if he tried his best. I don't know if his ego is just so huge that he legitimately doesn't know what he's doing because he's like such a narcissist. It could be anything. Maybe he's a great guy and just is like getting old or something. I don't know. Maybe he knows exactly what he's doing and he's traveling to the future to find his Nikola Tesla time machine, and Barron Trump's going to grow into the Jolly Green Giant and save America. Anything's possible. I don't make the rules. I'm just saying I'm going off of reality. Because if we don't talk about what happened, we're losing reality. QAnon, in my opinion, is a psyop to get conservatives out of reality. Like, there's what's happening. Whether you like Trump or not, this is what happened. Whether you like Trump or not, he infringed on the first two amendments. That happened. You don't have to get mad at him over it. But if you don't even admit that happened, if you're like, he secretly did that because he's saving Israel for last, and it's like, no, he's not. What are you talking about? You know, it's like they're trying to strip us out of reality. The left is doing so with the lockdowns, and they're putting us on Zoom calls and replacing us with cardboard cutouts. And then the right has the QAnon and Trump worship, where it's like people will make up every excuse instead of just being like, yeah, I'm not saying he's in on it. I defended him 1,000 times, but I don't know why he turned into a vaccine salesman. I'm just saying he's a vaccine salesman. Maybe he's a great guy who just loves Pfizer and Moderna. Maybe he really loves Bill Gates, and they're great friends. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't sway my opinion or my perspective of like, it's unacceptable. If we want freedom, it's not going to work. Like, it's not just like my opinion. You think I care about my opinions? I'd be on a cruise right now, not saying a damn word, because who cares what I think? But I can't go on a cruise anymore because I'm a bougie free range slave now. I don't have the freedom I used to have. I've been, I've been restricted to a peasant, and I don't want to be a peasant. So I'm not theorizing about why he did it or didn't do it. I'm saying I'm not a peasant. I don't care if Trump or Biden or why he's selling vaccines. A lot of these people are so detached from reality. Like, if you're a billionaire and you live in Los Angeles, you might not be terrible. You just don't know what it's like to be broke driving Uber. So you're so detached from reality. Trump lives on a golden throne. You think he feels what you're feeling? He probably never gave a shit about the lockdown because he never had to deal it. He was on television every day. He got to do whatever he wanted. He didn't have to wear a mask for the first 4 months. So I think you think he's like your best friend hiding in a cupboard, but he's a billionaire on a golden throne who probably just doesn't know what's going on until you tell him, or he does and he's not. We could theorize till the cows come home, but it's unacceptable to me. Someone said, I'm finally making that video on economics and physics. You probably don't remember, but you said to send the video. I got a mic and animating. We'll see when I'm done. ZM, send it to me on Instagram when you're done. God bless. Someone said the only thing that Trump drained was the wealth and the independence of the middle class. I agree, Paul. The swamp didn't get drained. The middle class did. I mean, we could theorize on who he is or why he did it, but I'm not trying to personally attack Trump. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to go at who he is or his whole life. I'm not trying to grab him by the cat. I don't care about that stuff. I'll give him a pass on whatever. He drained the middle class, whether he meant to or not. I don't know. It's not for me. Thank you, Sherry. Someone said he exploited poor white people for political gain. I'm not saying this. He said this. He said he exploited poor white people for political gain. I don't get mad at stuff like that. I'm like, I consider that. People will freak out when you say that. The reason I learned about things Trump wasn't doing is because I watched channels who said stuff like that. Not liberals who didn't know what they're talking about, but other channels. And that's how you learn. Somebody like me or someone else that challenges what you say. And you have two options. When he says that, you can either freak out, Trump didn't exploit poor white people. No, Trump loved us. He helped us. Or you could be like, I don't know. Maybe he did. I do think that is true to an extent where I've said this before, but I don't think the Republicans care about their white base because they know that it's racist to pander to you. So they pander to everybody else. So it's like the Platinum Plan, the American Dream Plan. They're just as racist as the right, as the left against white people. I don't like the word racist, but it's like they discriminate just as much based on race as the left does in hopes that they can get more Black and Hispanic voters. But it's like, how come I got invited to the White House? Because I'm part Hispanic. If I was white 100%, I'm part Puerto Rican, but I'm mostly white European. If I was 100% white European, I never would have got to the White House. So what does that mean? Is the right is segregating and discriminating just like the left. And I appreciate the invite, but it makes me feel a certain way, especially for my 100% white friends, that they can't go to the White House because there's no event for white people. There's only an event for blacks and Hispanics for the most part. That's a little bit offensive. And honestly, I don't like it. The American Dream Plan for Hispanics, the Platinum Plan for the GOP doesn't care about white people. They know they have white conservatives on lock, and they're running in circles trying to do whatever they can for people who mostly don't even like them. You know, which is the fall of the GOP. Someone said you're a cynic. I'm not being cynical. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I'm not crying. I'm just telling you what's going on. You guys always straw man. Oh, you're angry. You're cynical. You hate Trump. Do I seem mad? I seem funny. But in general, you know, they always want to please the people who don't like them, and they end up turning into the left. This is how they turn into the left. We don't like identity politics. We're going to push identity politics. They push the same identity politics as the left does. The left does every identity politics except for white. The right does all identity politics except for white. You know, they are the left. They do a lockdown. They do a lockdown. They print trillions. They print trillions. They rush vaccines. They rush vaccines. What is the right? Like, you guys think Trump is this hero savior? He just turned into the left. In the GOP, they don't. You know, but it's not to play the victim. You have to respect yourself in order to get someone else's respect. So I think the white, you know, community in America, if you want to call it Black America, white America, whatever, it's like, you know, on the left and the right, they're told you don't exist. If you do, you're a bad person. If you don't, you know, you're only allowed to organize if you're like supporting a Black or Hispanic event. So it's like the white race has been, in my opinion, just completely demoralized and completely exploited by both parties, where it's like, yeah, the right is better. They don't want to completely destroy you like the left, but you know, they let you exist only to do exactly what the left does, which is like identity politics for certain ethnicities. All right, the one dude's like spamming in the comments. It's like, bro, come on, dude. Why are you gonna just spam? All right. Someone said you're absolutely right about Trump. What else now? I'm not talking. I don't know. People freak out when I say something. They're like, "What do we do now?" Listen. I'm just talking. So what I said 10 minutes ago, like, it's, you know, dude. Why are you gonna just come in here and spam, bro? There's like a bunch of spammers in my freaking comments. Come on, bro. Now I'm just hiding. All right. All right, these people, you're really trying to ruin the YouTube stream with these random comments and stuff. Sorry, now I'm just like hiding this dude. All right, congratulations, bro. You ruined the stream. You're so helpful, bro. You're so cool. There's just like multiple spammers on YouTube. All right, I'm gonna take off in 2 minutes. This guy just ruined my whole stream. You're so powerful, man. You ruined my stream. I hope it was worth it. They're not haters. They're just spamming stupid shit in the YouTubes, and it's making it like unusable. Or I'll just ignore it. You guys can spam it if you want. All right, I'll answer a few more. What's up, Christina from Alaska? Someone said pick one, jail or vax. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a bad, someone said don't let him get to you. He's not getting to me. He's just spamming so much shit in the YouTube comments where it's like, it's just annoying. Someone said this live will go down without me. That's true. Someone said people are so terrible. Yeah, I'm just wasting my time now. I'm just like putting people in timeout because he's just like spamming crap. If you just said something one time, I'd actually just not even care. But they're just. Someone said to quote Anomaly, "Don't be scared, be prepared." How do you even make this many YouTubes, bro? It's like they got freaking like 100 YouTubes and they just spam stuff. I need mods. Well, this isn't normally a problem. This has been a problem like twice. All right, I'll just let them spam. let's end on a good note because I want to end on something good. Let me see. Someone said Trump 2024 guaranteed loss. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea. I do want to kind of go anyway too. What time is it? 10:26. It's probably right around what I want to do. I just want to say this to the people spamming. Like, I know they think it's funny. They probably think they're funny or kids or something, but it's like, I don't know. By sabotaging my stream, I don't think you're achieving what you think you're achieving, but they're probably just like kids or something. Someone said I need mods. Yeah, I tried it. I mean, eventually, unfortunately, I guess I'll leave on this note. Eventually, you need people on your team. I like to do everything myself, honestly. I don't have mods, I don't have editors. I do everything myself. But apparently this is kind of a life lesson too. It's not just this stream, but eventually, it helps to have certain help because you can't do everything. I can't do everything all the time by myself, but it's all good. Just someone said spammers help, you need it. Get help, you need it. Someone said, I'm not V'd yet, and I'm visiting a client next week. Refinery, they have a new policy where no mask if you're V'd, and asked me if I felt so uncomfortable. Yeah, it sucks because, this is, someone said sociopaths, narcissists, and children. Oh my, yeah, whatever. I'm just going to ignore them. But it's a huge, huge deal. I mean, it's not going to go away. And, a lot of people need money. That's why it's become very elitist. Like, if you have enough money, you could get away with it, although it's still going to affect your life. But if you need clients, like most people, like eventually it's going to hit you, even me. What if Facebook or YouTube said, if you don't get a vaccine and it's a digital passport, now they have a whole digital database. Well, if you don't get it, we're going to shut down your bank account. We're going to shut down your SIM card, like in Pakistan. We're going to make it so you can't use our social media. Like, this stuff is, I don't want to wish on it, but this stuff is very plausible. So to me, when people are like, what do you think about Trump rushing it so it's not mandatory? It doesn't even make sense, because eventually either this thing's going to get taken off the market or it's going to get FDA approval. And when it gets FDA approval, it's not going to make it less mandatory. And it already is. They're already trying to do that. So the legalities of it are tough. But, if enough people fall for it, like, I just don't understand how certain people say that he rushed this so it wouldn't be mandatory. It doesn't even make sense. Like, they're doing all this stuff right now and they're trying to. So it's going to take enough feet on the ground peacefully, but enough people saying no. And I know it's tough if you need money, but I just don't see it getting better from here. That's like with the masks. I always felt like they're going to replace the no mask sign with the no vaccine sign. This was so obvious, so early, and everyone's going along with the mask. And now it's the vax, and everybody feels uncomfortable. But it's like, why? I can't think of why people just didn't get this earlier. And the further we go, the harder it is to say no. So that's what I've been kind of, I won't say preaching, but for months, like, I don't want to tell people what to do, because I get people need money. I get people need to go certain places. But if you think it's going to get easier and you think it's going to get more lax, it might. But it also might not. So sometimes there's never a better time. Like, I have my certain places where I just won't do it. But someone said, you're not the real anomaly. You stealing his clout. Now I'm getting canceled. Well, no, I'll say this, bro. I've had this name since 2008. So if the people spamming, they're doing it on behalf of another anomaly. Bro, the other guy, he's like a big gamer or something. Follow my channel. I mean, you guys probably don't care, but go to my channel in 2008. That's when I posted my first rap video. I've been on YouTube as the name Anomaly with a 0 for the O since 2008. I don't know how long he's been around, but this is not something that I just adapted like a year ago just for the clout. Like, oh my God, I need attention from this guy. Bro, I've called myself Anomaly for over a decade, literally over 12 years. So if you really want to know the facts, you want him to be the guy. I have the 0 next to my name. I've had it for 12 years. So you're just playing yourself. Yeah, the spamming's on YouTube. I apologize, but they're saying like words, and now they're trying to accuse me of stealing some guy's name. He's a big gamer called Anomaly, but I've had this name probably longer than he has. I've never once got mad that he has the same name. It's like, I don't care. All right, we'll take off on this. So sorry it ended on like a sort of bad note. Someone said ignore the trolls. It's tough because I go off of what people say in the comments on Facebook and YouTube, and they're just spamming on YouTube. I know you guys can't see it. I apologize for the disturbance, but they're just spamming like ignorant stuff, and just like I can't even see the comments. They're spamming so much that I can't even read it. But it's all good. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. To the people spamming, if you have a message to say or something, that's one thing. But if you're going to accuse me of copying a different guy when I've had this name for 12 years on YouTube, by the way, you can find videos of mine from 2008. You're just a liar. But I hope you feel good about it. Someone said I'm feeding it. I'm not trying to feed it because I can't stream like this. I apologize. I can't even see the comments. Imagine if it's on Facebook and all I see is other people's comments. It's impossible for me to even read anything. They've made it so I can't even read comments. I could have just focused on Facebook, but it's all good. It's over. They're saying W. I mean, whatever. Vital transformation said Anomaly. You teach my kids. It helps me. Trump loves the V. I'm not down. Oh, well, I guess I'll get a moderator next time. If you think a W is shutting down a stream of somebody talking about mandatory vaccination, like literally the country's getting locked down with quarantines and mask mandates and literally like, testing camps, we're turning into a Black Mirror episode. If a win to you is shutting down my stream when I'm one of the very few independent people, you're on the side of the corporate networks and the politicians. It's like you guys are all very wicked. I know you're probably like gamers who just sit there and get upset and stuff, but if that's a W to you, I actually feel bad for you guys. God bless you guys on YouTube, and my Twitter, my Telegram is t.me/dreamerchat if you'd like to follow on there, and my email list is stayintouchwithme.com. Thank you guys for being here, and I'll figure it out. I guess I'll get a moderator next time. If this is like a recurring problem, I'll just do that. Someone said, Anomaly, I'm telling you, dude, people are down. It's just stupid. Thank you, Shirley. Someone said, don't stress the haters. I'm not trying to stress it. I'm not trying to talk about it. But for those on Facebook who can't see, like 20, 30 people just came in and they're just spamming things like the N-word and just all sorts of stuff. And it's not that I care what they say. They're not hurting my feelings. I literally can't see the stream. So they just literally ruin the stream. Someone said we could block the comments. Yeah, but I feed off the comments. It's a live feed, so I can't really. If I can't see the comments, I can't really do my show. So I guess I'll have to get somebody to. Someone says stop caring. Once again, guys, this is just it's like when I talk about the Trump thing and people just keep saying the same thing. So I don't care. It's not that I care. It's like if you're doing a show and people, you get what I'm saying? I can't do my show. I don't care. My show's interactive. I don't just talk to myself. I read comments and I interact with people. So it's not that I care what they're saying or care what they're doing. They literally, it's like going on my stage and just smashing all the things I have and like knocking the lights down and being like, see, look, we did. It's like, that's what they're doing. But all right, well, hopefully we'll try this again later this week. Hopefully it's not as bad, but just awkward ending. I apologize. Did I see the Putin summit? I heard words from it. It's not that bad. But someone said I'm down to mod. I'll figure it out on YouTube later when I go. But it's just annoying. People are so crazy, man. But oh well. Long enough anyway. I'll be back soon. Thank you guys for supporting. Thanks for everybody with the hats at dreamrare.com. And I'll be back. It's not a big deal. I just gotta figure out how to get this stuff out of the way. It sucks because, man, I really like to do things independent. And I'll tell you guys, you losers over here, I did this all with no manager, no label, no marketing deal, no editors, no lighting. I do this all myself, 100% independent. I do my own emails. I do my own, when I go on tour and stuff, I set it all up myself for the most part. So whatever you think you're doing, I mean, you're just ruining my hard work and stuff I've done. I mean, I'm not going to act like it's ruining me, but it's like what is your life comprised of that a win is going after or just commenting and spamming in the comment section of somebody that's trying to warn America and humanity about mandatory vaccinations? Like, it's just shocking. I can't imagine like what you're going through, but I'll pray for you. So God bless you guys. Appreciate you here. And I'll figure out what to do about that. Not worried about it. I just going to be more of a hassle, but that's life. I'm used to it now. They're trying to test me and force vaccinate me everywhere. So it's not that different. And I know, once again, I know on Facebook too that they're blocking my like people can't click on the link or something. This is what I have to deal with all the time. They're writing stupid smear articles about me. They're making it so people can't see my stuff. They're semi demonetizing me on stuff. I mean, the walls are closing in. Not just on the country with the medical stuff, but that's the type of stuff they're doing to me. I don't really sweat it or stress it, but just something to think about. So thank you guys who figured out how to click the link over. So just another annoying thing, but whatever. I'm used to it by now. All right. Have a good day, guys. I'll be back soon. People are so dumb.